Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we will talk about sensible precautions for growing orchids and various other plants in the summertime. I'm sure that this video will be helpful to anyone who struggles with this. If you like this video, please thumbs up, leave a comment, and share it with more flower enthusiasts. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. A few days ago, I found that several of my plants had suddenly wilted, and that the leaves and branches were drooping. The more serious ones were these maidenhair fern and passionflower, because I had fertilized them shortly before they wilted. I at first figured that the fertilizer burned the roots. Then it rained for a few days. After the rain, the plants recovered. The fern's leaves were not so dry. The branches and leaves of the passionflower also perked back up. After a few days, these plants wilted again. When I thought about it later on, it didn't seem like the fertilizer was a cause. If you fertilize too much, the worst case scenario is that the plant will burn to death all at once. Alternatively, the plant could have mild symptoms at the beginning and slowly recovered later. In either situation, the plant shouldn't wilt again after it had recovered. But that's exactly what happened. I thought about it later and realized that it was likely due to the temperature. On the rainy days, the temperature lowered. The temperature was higher on the days before and after the rain. Plants wilt when the temperature is high. It wasn't because of lack of water that the plants were shriveling, because the potting media never dried out. I could not believe this. Were these ferns and passionflowers tropical plants? Why were they so hurt by the heat? Our summertime temperatures are generally below 35 Celsius. That's not that hot, is it? Later, since the outside environment was not suitable for them, I moved them indoors. The leaves were still drooping that night, but by the early morning the next day, the leaves had recovered. Over the next few days, these plants were kept indoors, with no more wilting issues. From this experience, we can see that some plants can be injured by the heat, especially in a dry heat. It is easy to damage the leaves. It's concerning to think about recent events. Various regions, including some cities in China and some countries in Europe, such as the United Kingdom, have had the hottest summer ever. In some areas, the temperature has even risen as high as 42 Celsius. People find it intolerable, and so do some plants. Therefore, if you find that your flowers are also suddenly wilting or not growing well, you can consider whether it is because the temperature is too high. You can always move these plants indoors, put it in a cool environment, and see if it recovers in a few days. In summer, I don't worry so much about overwatering. The primary point of concern, in addition to the temperature extremes mentioned above, is the light. In summer, ultraviolet rays are very strong, and people ought to wear sunscreen when going out to avoid sunburn. Some plants and orchids should pay attention to sun protection. Of course, some flowers like full sun, such as jasmine and lotus. The more powerful the light, the more flowers they can produce. For orchids, though, all of them need sun protection. Proper lighting is very important for the growth and flowering of orchids. Without sufficient light, many orchids will not bloom. On the other hand, too much light can burn orchids. So how do we choose the right lighting? We can first place the orchid in a place with direct sunlight in the morning or evening. Then, for several days, observe the leaves of the orchid. If the leaves are still green, the light is suitable and the orchid can tolerate it. If the leaves turn bright yellow, black, or other color, for example, the new leaves of this Vanda orchid are turning purple, and the leaves of this Vanda orchid are a little bit white, then we need to change the position of the orchid to a shadier spot. You can also put it directly in the shade and avoid any possibility of sunburn. It is recommended that Camellia orchids be given proper lighting. Summer is especially suited for the growth of Camellia. We have several Camellia orchids that are blooming now. Light can promote the flowering of Camellia, so we should give the right light in summer. Enough for green leaves to turn slightly yellow, but not enough to burn them. Alright, this is today's video. Hope it is useful to you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you for watching. See you next time.